Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So my name's Katie and today I'm going to be talking about some popular books that disappointed me. I just wanted to start this video with a little disclaimer. So firstly, if you love any of these books, then do please gush about them in the comments below, because just because I didn't like them doesn't mean you don't or someone else won't. This is no way like a personal attack on anyone. We all have different opinions on books, which is what makes this community so diverse and awesome. These books I don't think are bad books at all. Like one of them I actually gave a pretty high rating to. I think just because I had such high expectations, like I was expecting it to be like 5 out of 5 stars, new like Stormlight Archive, but it just wasn't. So that's why I titled this video Disappointing Books rather than like Worst Books, because I do think they are like pretty solid books and they do have an audience, but that audience just wasn't me. So yeah, so let's just get into it. The first book I'm going to talk about is Stormfront, which is the first book in the Dresden Files. So I had really high hopes for this book because I love Jim Butcher's other series though, Codex Alera, so like Furies of Calderon is the first one. Stormfront just wasn't it for me. It was just so like misogynist. So I'm editing this video and I clearly mean misogyny. I'm so embarrassed with myself. I think I lost my last brain cell reading this book. And the main character, Harry Dresden, he just got on my nerves so much. Like he was so sleazy and like all the characters, he would just be like staring down like female characters' tops, and like the first thing you would always notice would be their boobs or like how sexy they were or whatever. And yeah, he was just like the horniest character ever, and it was just so like, oh no. But yeah, that just wasn't for me. And yeah, the female characters were just quite poor. Like the one character who maybe had a bit of promise, she was like in the kind of climax of the book, she was basically just there to be rescued, which was kind of annoying. So many people seem to love the Dresden Files, so maybe like the lore and stuff gets really expanded and stuff. It was just way too kind of like sleazy for me. And also there was this character, I can't remember quite what it was. I don't know if it was like a doorknob or something, but it was like this, yeah, this like talking doorknob or candlestick or something along those lines. And he was also super like sleazy and horny, and he was talking about like all these things that he was gonna have sex with, and yeah, it was just dodgy. I just no. So yeah, I don't like that one. But I mean, I'm sure the series improves and gets less kind of sexist, but yeah, we'll move on from that one. So the next book is actually on a slightly more positive note, is The Name of the Wind. So I gave this book 3.5 stars, no, 3.75 stars. So I did still enjoy it, but I think the character Kvothe just wound me up so much, and I think I was expecting it to be like 5 out of 5 stars, like a new favourite, absolutely, but it just wasn't for me. I mean, it was still a solid book and I'd probably still recommend it, but it just wasn't a favourite, which I think was why it kind of disappointed me. But the writing was still so beautiful and the kind of like lore and mystery was really interesting. But yeah, Kvothe just wound me up so much. He's just so like, kind of arrogant and just good at everything, and like he could do no wrong basically. And I don't know if it was kind of because he was telling the story, so he kind of put that spin on it, or if that's just kind of how he was as a character. But yeah, he just kind of wound me up a lot. And yeah, like compared to Kaladin or something, just no comparison. But yeah, so he wasn't my favourite like protagonist. I did like Ori, she was quite a good character. But yeah, also the main like female love interest, Denna, I wasn't really a big fan of her. She was just kind of there to be like objectified basically, which was kind of annoying as well. And yeah, I didn't really feel like the kind of connection. It just seemed like Kvothe, like every woman he came across was like in love with him. But yeah, so yeah, that was a bit annoying. But yeah, so that one kind of a disappointment, but it's definitely not a bad book. So the next book is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. So this is like so many people's absolute favorite books. But for me, I agree, the writing is like super atmospheric and really good, but for me I just could not connect to the characters. Like they were just so meh for me, and the romance was just like, I just didn't like it. There was like no development. And I think as well, I don't mind slow books, but I think I just really struggled with this one because it's kind of, it wasn't that so much it was slow, it was just there's not a lot of plot payoff, which I think is my issue with slow books. So like if it's a slow book but kind of it all builds up to something, or it all kind of, there's a meaningful like character growth or character arc, and you get like a satisfying conclusion from that, then I like slow books. But if it's like just kind of slow for the sake of being slow, or slow because it's just giving all these descriptions, and I just don't think that I quite like that. So that is, I think, one reason I didn't like it. And also I think I listened to the audiobook, and I don't think the audiobook is great for this one. I mean, the narrator's good, but I just don't think it fits the style of the book. Like, so yeah, so I don't think the narrator fits the book very well. And I have seen someone say actually that they love the Night Circus, but they listened to the audiobook and they really didn't like it. So maybe that influenced my enjoyment, but yeah, I just wasn't really a big fan. Then the next one is another audiobook that I listened to actually, and I have to say the audiobook was amazing. Like, the production and everything was really good, but I just didn't like the story that much. and that is Sadie by Courtney Summers. So I think it is an important book because it does deal with some important topics, but I think it's just, again, that like plot payoff. It's just kind of, you're following this story, and I guess this is the point of the book, that you don't get any closure, but it was just really unsatisfying to me. So yeah, that kind of disappointed me. And I think as well, I didn't feel like there was much mystery, because the way the book's set is, there's this like podcast reporter, and he's following this journey of Sadie, who's this girl who's gone missing, and basically you get the perspective of Sadie, and then a couple of months later you get the perspective of this reporter. But essentially all that happens is you get Sadie's perspective, and then the reporter basically just finds out what's happened, the information that you just got in Sadie's point of view. So I don't see why there was quite that dual like point of view. I don't feel like it added anything. And I also don't feel like, I don't know if I was just expecting a mystery, but there wasn't really one, to be honest. It was just kind of Sadie's like journey almost. So I do think people get stuff out of this book, and a lot of people really seem to love it. But yeah, I don't think it was really for me. And then the final book I'm going to talk about, the Daughter of the Pirate King and Daughter of the Siren Queen duology. So both by Trishan Lebenseller. So I like her other books, so Warrior of the Wild, and I did quite enjoy the shadows between us. Like, it wasn't like mind-blowing or anything, but it was still kind of fun. But this book, especially the second one, Daughter of the Siren Queen, just wound me up so much because the main character, again, like Kaveh, is just so annoying. They just, like, everything they do, they just do so right, and like they can do no wrong, and it's really, it makes the story so unsatisfying because like no stakes almost, because the character just like, they're just like, oh, I'm the best, like plan that I've come up with is gonna be amazing, and it just solves everything. And also there was like all these twists, like the main character would always just have just the thing to like sort the situation out, and I think it just kind of weakened the book because there was no sort of struggle. Yeah, so that kind of disappointed me. So yeah, I'm generally not a very negative person, so that's why I don't have a very like big list, because I do tend to like quite a lot of the books that I read. But yeah, these are just some of the ones that kind of maybe didn't quite hit the mark for me. Do leave a comment down below and let me know if there's any like popular books that you don't like, or if you have read any of these books in this video and you love them, then do gush about them in the comments, because other people might love them as well, and I would never want to like put anybody off from reading a book. Well, except maybe Stormfront, I would not recommend that one. But yeah, all the other books in this video, I'm sure some people would love them. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, and remember to subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope you're all having a good day, and I will see you next time.